Good morning, Karen. How are you? Hello, Karen. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Sorry, having a having a little issue there.
No worries. I was like, is my speakers on? I can't hear you.
No, I couldn't get my volume on, and then
Oh,
it wasn't working because it wouldn't let me call in because I know I was having my laptop, my um the pad to hook everything up is underneath, so you can't hear from it. So I normally call in
oh, okay.
and then do everything else, and because it didn't have a call in number, it wasn't. I had to just undo it.
No worries. Technology, you gotta love it, right?
I'm like, it's set up right, it's one thing, but when you go to change something, it doesn't change so easily.
Yeah, that's true. I feel you. Are you working remotely from home as well?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Yep. We're still home until end of May, and then they're going to decide again.
Yep, same here. They're waiting until the beginning of summer to decide on what we're going to do. But, I got my vaccination appointment for tomorrow, so I'm all set.
Nice.
How
I've
about
got my
yourself?
first one in. I get my second
Nice.
one a week from Saturday is my
Oh,
second one.
great. That's good to hear. So
Yeah.
that's comforting to know, right? You feel
Right.
much better having that vaccination.
Well, I got COVID really bad New Year's.
Oh, really?
And I'm still working from home, but like as soon as I was done with my I normally work 50 hours or more, but as soon as I hit 40, I was like asleep because I just I couldn't function. And every minute I wasn't working, I was sleeping, and it was horrible.
Wow.
But yeah, and I ended up with really bad respiratory. I was supposed to go to the hospital a couple days and I didn't. They said if my oxygen got below a certain level, and it did, but I'm like, what are they going to do for me?
Wow, that's scary.
Like one of those, I would take my inhaler and everything and it would go back up. I'm like, if it stays down, I'll go. If it
Oh,
goes back
wow.
up. But so I'm like, I'm getting my shot as soon as I hit the time frame where I could get the shot after having it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm getting it.
Wow.
People are like, why? You've already had it. I'm like, because I don't ever want that again.
No, I heard it's pretty bad. I've even had friends and they're, young like me and healthy and they caught it and they're like, yeah, that was like the worst flu I ever had. And I'm like, yeah, I
Right.
don't want to go through that either. So I'm
No,
good.
and honestly, I'm like, I still get run down. It's been 4 months and I still get run down really easy and everything else. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
My husband's double vaccinated now. He didn't get it. How he didn't get it in this house, I don't know. But
Wow. Some people's immune systems are stronger than others, I
yep,
suppose.
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining me this morning, and I
No problem.
appreciate you taking the time to see what Cortera can bring to the table and help you guys out at Plano Synergy. Before we dive into it, can you just kind of give me like a brief overview of the role you play in the credit process there at Plano Synergy?
Okay, I'm
What,
I'm I'm the AR manager, so I'm in charge of
Mhm,
all the collecting of everything. So we have probably close to 4,000 customers.
mhm,
We have about 15 different brands that we bring to the table.
mhm,
We actually just got or are in the process of merging this summer with Pure Fishing, which is even larger than us. Um, so we have currently, I have anywhere between 60 and 180 million a month, depending on the month, because we're hit and miss, both seasonal with the hunting and fishing.
mhm.
Um, but we have, like I said, close to 4,000 customers, and I only have 2.5 analysts to do it all with. So
Wow.
we stay busy.
I bet you guys do. Okay.
And
So what?
currently we have something similar. We have we use Credit Intel and a couple other things that we get our information, same thing. I mean, in the gist that
Mhm.
we use Vectran to run our credit credit reviews, but we also have Credit Intel and a couple others that we use that send us the updates, kind of like what yours looks like it did,
Mhm.
where it will send you out kind of an overview of everybody and what trends you're doing. But
Mhm.
I'm always looking for something that could be a little bit more helpful, or fit just a little bit more information, or something.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So it sounds like you guys, you and your two analysts have your hands full with 4,000 customers. And obviously you recently merged with Pure Fishing, so now that's going to probably add more customers to your portfolio. Is that correct?
I think we're going to be operating separately
Oh,
for quite
separately.
some time.
Okay.
Um, it's going to be um I can't see us really merging fast, because we're both
Mhm.
such big players with so many customers and different
Mhm.
things, that I think it'll take the last merger where we took over a couple other people, it takes a year or two before we really got the AR combined.
Okay.
So but even just with our stuff, if anything we can do to help dig out and catch up, because we took over all these companies, so we kind of started in a hole.
Uh-huh.
So we've been trying to spend the last 2 years digging out from the mess that we inherited,
Right.
as well as keep up with our top players.
Okay. Interesting. Sounds good. So, all right. That certainly gives me an idea of the level of need you guys have, being that it's just you and two analysts. Trying to manage 4,000 customers is pretty
Hmm.
substantial in itself. And that's good that you guys are using multiple tools for credit data. You mentioned Credit Intel, Bectran, and then you said there's something else that you're using for monitoring and alerts. Is that correct?
Well, actually, sorry. The Bucktrain is our credit application thing that does automatic credit apps.
Okay.
The Credit Intel is kind of what is doing the monitoring and sending us.
Mhm.
We get updates from anywhere, just on regular business updates to specific customer updates, and
Mhm.
then they also send me a report at least once a month with basic overviews, who's going up, who's going down in payment trends, who's to watch for, out of my own customers.
Okay.
they,
And
they do it detailed to my specifications of who I have, and whose payment trends are going up or down, or that
Mhm.
kind of thing, and they send alerts to that.
Okay.
And then Experian is where we pull all our credit reports.
Oh, Experian for reports. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, my question about the credit intel monitoring, you said that they are monitoring your customers once a month. Uh,
Mm.
and is it 100% of your portfolio on the monitoring? Are they monitoring all 4,000 of your customers, or just a
Yes, I send
percentage?
them an aging every or they have
Mhm.
a full customer list. I mean, obviously I probably don't get them on the little guys. It's probably maybe my top couple hundred that they really
Mhm.
monitor closely.
Okay. Any particular reason why they're just monitoring the big guys and not the smaller ones?
They do, because I get some on the small ones, but I just don't get much information on them. I think we provided them a list somewhere along the line before me.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been in this role for like 2 years, and honestly thrown in with so much stuff as we were taking over several of our brands. So really haven't had a time to dig into what all they are doing.
Right. Okay.
Sadly, I mean, it's sad that I've had that little time. And I keep telling my bosses, I'm like, yeah, I'd like to get to the point where I'd love to have another person or two, but I'd love
Yeah.
to get to the point where I can actually check into the things I'm supposed to be checking into, but I just don't have time.
Sure. Sure.
Um, and that's why I'm like, to see this and see the setup of what it can do and everything would be nice too, to see if it's something that can
Mm-hmm.
fill in some gaps for us.
Okay. Well, that's certainly what Cortera is in business to do, is to help you guys fill in the missing data gaps on those smaller to mid-sized privately held companies, which is where Cortera shines and excels in our coverage of credit data. And just curious, Karen, prior to this conversation, have you ever heard of Cortera before, or is this completely new to you?
Um, a little bit. It's come up a time or two.
Mhm.
I know. In a credit group that I'm in and stuff, your names have come up a few times, and of you know people, other organizations in the group that we meet up a couple times a year and everything, and the name has come up of that they use you and stuff like that. So, and just different programs similar to the where the name has come up, so I've heard it. And then I was in some kind of webinar thing and you guys came up again, so that's
Okay,
where it
excellent.
was this time.
So you attended the recent webinar that we had?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I'm assuming that the memberships you have are with like NAW or CRF.
Reamer or why am I forgetting the other one? The NACM we were in. I
Mhm.
still get stuff from them even though we're not in them anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, that webinar we did was related to CRF members, so probably that's where you got
Okay.
invited. But yeah, we're members of those organizations, and a lot of our members of our network are participate in those organizations as well. So you're in good company. And I'm glad that you heard of us before, because we've been around for quite a while. We've been around for over 25 years. And but the thing is that not a lot of people are familiar with Cortera and our offerings, because we are in a unique position, because a lot of the companies that are using Cortera don't just use Cortera by itself. They use other providers. So, because not every credit data provider has coverage on all your customers.
Right.
So Experian, Dun and Bradstreet, they don't have all of your customers, especially those smaller to mid-sized privately held companies that you mentioned that even Credit Intel doesn't seem to have enough data on. And that's where Cortera kind of steps into, the scene, kind of under the radar, but we fill in all of the missing data gaps on those particular companies. And the reason why is because Cortera has a very user-friendly interface. We're kind of pride ourselves in our user-friendly, easy to read credit reports and monitoring platform. And the fact that also we are a give to get model. So the companies that use our credit monitoring and credit reporting services are required to share their AR data. So the same way that you send your monthly aging to Credit Intel,
Hmm.
Cortera would require the same thing. So you just send that same file that you're sending to Credit Intel, you send it to Cortera, and in exchange, we will provide you with unlimited monitoring and daily alerts on your customers free of cost. So whereas we used to charge for this service on a monthly basis, like yearly subscription cost, now it is eliminated the cost. So it's now everything I'm going to show you as far as the monitoring and the alerts are free. And the only thing that Cortera asks that you pay for, and as how we make our revenues, is through our credit reports. But our credit reports are extremely low price. So we're talking anywhere from $2.50 for a single page flash report to a whopping $6 for a multiple page deep dive report. So compared to what other companies charge for a credit report, we are very competitively priced. So that's basically, in a nutshell, the value proposition that Cortera brings to the table. And I'm just going to quickly, show you the key features and benefits. I'm going to walk you through the online platform and how that can fit into your workflow and help you fill in the missing data gaps when you have a no hit or a thin file. But
Okay.
that's pretty much in a nutshell what Cortera is about. So did you have any specific questions about what I just said before we dive into the
Nope.
platform?
Nope. That sounds good.
Okay, great. So I'm going to just kind of keep this short, brief, and to the point as possible to be respectful for your time. If you have any questions, Karen, please feel free to interrupt and I'll explain in more detail, but I'll keep this as third grade level as I can and brief to the point.
Okay.
So when you and your team there at Plano Synergy joins the Cortera network, and like I said, it's free of cost to join, you and an unlimited number of your associates, I know you have only 2 credit analysts that are helping you, but if you want to provide access to more employees, it's unlimited. You'll get access to this online credit and risk mitigation platform. You can see my screen here, by the way, right?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So this is the online credit and risk mitigation platform, Cortera Pulse. So this is completely online. It's ready to go as soon as you sign up. There's no software integration, no complicated learning process. It's very intuitive, very easy to use. When you send your customer aging file to Cortera, we will populate your customers into this customized dashboard, which, as I said, we will monitor all 4,000 of your customers, and it is unlimited. So as you grow and increase the size of your portfolio, we'll grow with you as well. So on a daily basis, we will monitor each and every single one of your customers across these 6 key factors for risk. So the first factor for risk is credit risk. This is predictive in its analysis. We show you which of your customers are in a high risk of default and delinquency in the next 6 to 12 months. And I'll show you how we calculate a credit score when we pull a credit report. Overall payments, this shows you how your customers are paying their vendors and suppliers on an overall basis. Peer payments, this is an exclusive alert only available to you as a Cortera member. We show you how your customers are paying other companies like Plano Synergy. So as you know, some vendors get paid faster than others. So having that unique insight on how you're going to get paid relative to your industry as a whole gives you some more unique perspective into your customers' behavior. Bankruptcies and court filings. Cortera has direct links to Pacer. So we get all bankruptcies, tax liens, civil suits, and judgments in real time. And then news alerts. This is another unique alert exclusive to only Cortera members. Cortera has direct links to over 12,000 different news outlets to get you any relevant news information on the financial health of your customers in real time. And Cortera goes right down to the local level, and we report on those small to mid-sized privately held companies, those mom and pops, those sole proprietorships that the mainstream media tends to ignore. You get all of those alerts as well. And all your alerts are summarized on this dashboard here, which can be customized and prioritized to meet your specific criteria. And they are as recent as today and as old as the last 30 days. See how that works here?
Nice.
Okay, so it's very simple, easy to use. And like I said, you'll get unlimited number of customers that we will monitor and an unlimited number of users that can access this dashboard. And to help streamline and automate the process so you don't have to constantly log into the dashboard to check on your customers, we will send you a single daily email alert summary that looks like this. Now, Karen, what will this will do for you and your analysts is this will help you be more proactive and stay on top of your accounts receivables. That way there's no unexpected surprises. So if there's any significant change in risk, such as a credit score dropping significantly, if they're paying other companies like yours more slowly, there's any bankruptcies or other court filings, any relevant news alerts, you'll get all of those alerts in one single daily email alert summary. Just takes a few minutes a day to read. And if you see anything that catches your attention or you want to do some further investigating, all you do is click this view tab. It'll take you back to the online dashboard and you can pull a credit report if you so desire. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And on a monthly basis, you're going to get a CFO report that looks like this. Now, what this will do for you and your team is this will report on key metrics in your entire AR portfolio. Obviously, you have your aging buckets, your aging details here.
Mhm.
In this section, you have the risk distribution of your customer base, and it's stacked ranked according to level of risk and credit score. In this section, you have your portfolio risk profile quilt. What we do here for you, Karen, is we put your customers into color-coded boxes, numbered 1 through 6, depending on level of risk, color-coded red to green like a traffic signal for ease of reference. Think numbers 1 through 3 are your higher risk trending down customers, and your numbers 4 through 6 are your lower risk trending up customers. Key trends in your portfolio are displayed in this graph here. Here's your top 10 account balances and summary of alerts in this section here. On the second page of the CFO report is your highest risk accounts. These are your problem children, Karen. These are the ones that you love dealing with. These are the customers that are on a high risk of default and decline, and they're slow paying. They have dropping credit scores. You might want to keep a watchful eye on these customers here. On the last page of the CFO report is your high collectability accounts. This is what I like to call your low-hanging fruit. These are the customers in your portfolio that are paying others in our network faster than they're paying you. And they have high credit scores, high payment rating scores. So you can use this page as a reference in your collections efforts to help reduce the DSO on some of these outstanding balances. See how that works?
Mhm.
Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay, so how does this compare so far to what you're getting right now?
I think it's more detailed. Like I said, I like the where I get the high risk alerts and all that kind of stuff. My report looks similar to this, but it doesn't have like you said, where you catch the smaller customers as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have more detail on the smaller ones, which is kind of the part but that we unfortunately neglect as well because we've got bigger fish.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep.
I mean, I ran my report at the beginning of the month and we had basically 7,000 invoices we need to touch, or, deductions, invoices, whatever. How are 3 people supposed to do, you can't even spend a minute on it,
It's mind-blowing.
So, to catch some of those lower ones that we neglect, to have them thrown up at us to say, okay, hey, these 12 we need to focus on,
Mhm.
that is a big help.
Okay.
As far
Excellent.
as the rest, a lot of it is similar, but I do like this. I like this setup.
And just to touch on that note, as far as Cortera's coverage is concerned, I wanted to show you this real quick on the homepage. If you scroll down on Cortera's homepage, our network consists of over 36 million business locations being reported on. These are unique business locations, not subsidiaries or branches, but actual unique businesses, covering over $1.7 trillion in annual B2B transactions. And that's probably by far the largest, if not one of the largest networks as far as AR payment experiences being reported in North America. But our claim to fame, as I said, is those small to mid-sized privately held companies that D&B and Experian just kind of dropped the ball on. And the reason being is because, D&B doesn't require all of their customers to submit trade data. So not everyone is sharing AR information with D&B or even Experian. And D&B and Experian tend to be a little bit more on the pricey side as far as their costs are concerned. So a lot of those smaller privately held companies can't afford D&B or Experian. So they will come to a company like Cortera and share exclusively with Cortera. So that's why Cortera has some of the strongest coverage on the small to mid-sized private sector, because of the fact that we are free to low cost, and we are simple and easy to use and less
Do you
intimidating.
have like a minimum of what we're expected of how many reports we should buy to keep the okay?
If you want to pull one report in an entire year or no reports, it's entirely up to you.
Okay.
There's no minimums. There's no expectation. So if you just want to use
Because
Cortera,
like currently, yeah, like if I were to get it and just try it for a couple months along with my other one,
yep.
because like Experian, I have unlimited. I think I'm taking advantage of it this year. I think it'll go away. I have unlimited because we've been behind. So since I've been taking over, the people before me, I don't know what they set people up in and why, so I've been pulling stuff for myself and going through. And with that many customers, I run a lot of reports during a year.
Sure.
And I have that unlimited, but like I said, that unlimited goes up based on how many I use. So like my fee it's for a year, but next year I can expect my fee to go up a little bit because I'm running more.
Sure. Well, like I said,
But it would be nice to, for like a month or two, to kind of even run them side by side to kind of compare.
absolutely. And it's a pay-as-you-go usage, so there's no minimums, there's no upfront deposit required. You just pay as you go because they're so inexpensive. And
Okay.
I'll show you how inexpensive they are and how much more data that you get with our reports, because that's the key differentiator with our credit reports, is that you get substantially more information than our competitors. And I'll show you right now how that looks. So let's just say you want to pull a credit report on a company. All you have to do is type the name of the company in the search bar at the top, just like you were using Google to do a search.
Mhm.
City and state are usually the only key data elements that we need in a database as large as ours. So we're going to use Cargill as an example here, because Cargill is one of the largest privately held companies in North America. They're also a member of our network and gave us permission to use their credit report. So I'm going to click on Cargill's corporate headquarters here. And then I'm going to click Buy Report. As you can see, the reports cost a meager $2.50 for a single page flash report. This will just give you like the first page of the report with like the credit score, the payment rating score, and all the vital information at a glance. And then we have a whopping $6 for a deep dive report, which includes additional information on, spend and trend information, industry segmentation, breakdown of spend, court filings, UCC filings, all that extra detailed information to supplement the credit score and the credit payment rating scores. We've also incorporated the same $6 cost for a deep dive report with an instant credit decision. Now, this credit decision can be based on a credit scorecard that you can customize to meet your own specific criteria, or you can just use the default scorecard. We'll use the default as an example here. You click Buy Report. While the report is being generated, you're going to get an instant approved, pending, or denied decision window pop up here. It'll show you the scorecard details with the variables we pulled directly from the credit report and a recommended aggressive or conservative credit limit based on a percentage of this company's highest balance. See how that works here?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to show you the credit report and what's on the credit report. So basically, let's get this out of here. There it is. Okay. So here's the credit report on Cargill. So as you can see, the first page is the $2.50 flash report, but it includes all of the vital information at a glance. So you have here the ultimate parent, or who owns this corporation and where they're located. And then you have the risk behavior scorecard with our Cortera score. This is our credit score. Now, this credit score is kind of modeled after a consumer FICO score, except it's a 100 to 900 scale, 100 being the worst, 900 being the best, on whether there's a severe risk of payment delinquency in the next 12 months. So you see here, Cargill is an 880 out of 900. So there is a very low risk of delinquency in payment. See how that works?
Mm-hmm.
The next score is our payment rating score. This is our CPR score. This is similar to the Paydex score on D&B reports. It looks back over the last 3 months on how this customer is paying their vendors and suppliers. Once again, it's a 100 to 900 scale. So see, Cargill is a 682 out of 900. That's above average. They have about a 6 days past due balance. Payment risk segment score, that's that color-coded chart I showed you earlier on the CFO report right here. It's numbered 1 through 6 depending on level of risk, color-coded red to green like a traffic signal. So you see here there are 5 out of 6 color-coded green, so they're consistently lower payment risk over the last 3 to 6 months. Industry benchmark. This gives you an idea of how fast this company is paying relative to others in their same industry. Looks like Cargill's paying relatively faster. Looks like 5.7 days on average versus a industry average of almost 8 days past due. So they're paying faster than others in their industry. Spending growth index. This gives you an idea as a percentage on how Cargill is spending their money. Are they on a growth trajectory? Are they stagnant, or they're declining in their growth and spend? And this is all based under this section here, under buying behavior. So what we do here, Karen, is we take all of the total known spend being reported on Cargill, and we aggregate it out over the last 12 months. Looks like it's over $1.4 billion in the last 12 months. And then we separate the spend into 3 major categories: materials, operations, and shipping. Now, why these 3 categories matter the most in a credit report? Well, they give you an indication on the financial risk of this company based on how they're spending their money. So if you take a case study, for example, remember the retailer Toys R Us that filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy a few years ago? Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
And it caught a bunch of people by surprise because, you know, Toys R Us is a nationally well-known, recognized name brand company. They do millions, if not billions of dollars in business. Well, the reason why it caught people off guard is because in the months prior to their bankruptcy, the operations spend was relatively unchanged, but the materials and shipping spend relative to operations were on a rapid decline. So those were red flag indicators to members of the Cortera network that Toys R Us wasn't purchasing additional materials, and they weren't shipping those materials or products out to customers. So they weren't generating any additional revenue, and they were burning through cash in operations. So members of the Cortera network that were privy to this information were able to take proactive measures to help mitigate that risk, whereas other companies had no idea this was going on, had to be more reactive in their response, and had to deal with the closure of stores, the Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and trying to collect on those outstanding balances. So do you see how this buying behavior helps you make more insightful credit decisions?
Yes.
And
And I
this,
have that on the ones I do now. I really like that.
excellent. And this is all based on this number here, 332 companies reporting. So what this means here, Karen, is we have 332 unique businesses that are members of the Cortera network that are reporting on their payment experiences with Cargill. So if Cargill was a customer of yours, just as a hypothetical, and you were a reporting member of our trade network, you would appear in this credit report as number 333. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm pointing this out to you, Karen, is that when you share trade data with Cortera, all of your information is anonymized. So nobody knows your identity or who your direct customers are. All you appear in the credit report is a number under a company reporting, and then we aggregate your balance and aging under an industry vertical. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's evident as you dive deeper into the credit report, as you can see CPR and DBT trends over time, family payment experience summary, and payment aging details. And then we get more granular with payment behavior by industry segmentation. Here's the materials payment behavior breakdown by industry segmentation. Here's the operations payment behavior by industry. And here's the shipping payment behavior by specific industry segments. Here's other payments by other industry segments. And then how does your industry get paid by this company? Once again, just to reiterate, it shows the number of providers, average balance, average DBT, and that's just across all contributing members of the network by industry. See how that works?
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically in a nutshell what makes Cortera's credit report stand out amongst our competitors. And like I said, this is a whopping $6 for this information. But as you go further in the report, it shows you other spend and trend insights on materials, operations, and shipping. And then, of course, comes standard in the credit report, you have recent news. These are all clickable headlines. Those will take you directly to the articles. Corporate demographics, executives, competitor information, corporate structure. You're going to get all the subsidiaries and companies under their umbrella and their family of companies. And then you're going to get location intelligence, corporation filings. You're also going to get UCC filings. I believe bankruptcies and court filings, if there were any. We get into reasons for the credit score, other scoring mechanisms. We show you motor carrier and insurance policy information. You're going to get SEC filings, fleet info, and then rounding out the credit report, you're going to get, here we go, pension plan information. And then, of course, on the bottom is liquor licenses, paycheck protection program, and government contracts. So as you can see, Karen, it's a very in-depth report.
Mhm.
It gives you a lot of analysis into their payment history, their payment trends, their spend trends, as well as some unique information on where this company has been, where they are, and where they're headed in the future.
Nice.
$6 a piece. So do you see additional value that Cortera can bring?
Yes, and I think you have more, because like some of my smaller customers where, there's might be 5 or 6 reporting through Experian, like you said, there'd be more through you guys just to have that backup. But credit report costs are probably, I'd have to figure out, either I don't remember what I paid this year. I'd have to look up to see what I'm paying for the unlimited. I know, like, as far as I'm in a year contract with Experian, so obviously I'm linked in using most of theirs until the end of the year.
Sure.
But this is something that if I get the approval to do, I would like to kind of have that on a backup for the ones that don't have a lot of information. If I could go with yours, and pull it from there. And then come January when my contract's up, if yours is a better deal, then it would make more sense to go that way going on in the future.
Sure.
How do you bill monthly for how many you do, or week? How's that go?
Just monthly. All you do is you just keep a credit card on file, and then
Okay.
whatever credit reports you pulled for that month, you'll just get charged for that usage for the month. So
Okay.
say you only pulled one credit report for $6 for the entire month, your credit card will just be charged $6.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, so now you said that you'd have to get approval to move forward with this?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
They're very, and with the not exact or no real cost to begin with, I can't see them throwing a fuss on it to
Sure.
give it a try.
Sure, give it a try for a
But
couple months.
yeah, I would like to, I just have to talk it over with the director of finance. It's
Sure.
not a big deal. I'll get with her later this week, in fact. And but yeah, it is something that I think would be useful. And like I said, to have the time to compare some of them when I needed to, so that we can make a decision for January of next year,
Mhm.
especially with the reports going forward.
Sure.
That would be nice.
Absolutely. And Cortera, like I said, our intention is not to replace your primary provider. If you guys are happy with Experian, by all means, keep them. We
Right. That's why I like that you can get so much information out of it without even
Yeah.
paying. I mean, the stuff that you guys have would be a great contribution to our team. I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's something, and two, just to have that second, on ones that, okay, Experian's got them flagged, kind of, to be able to go on and get your information too, to have to compare. That would be nice.
And this is all we would need for you to share with us. I'm sure you're doing the same thing with credit intel.
Yeah.
Just to identify your aging buckets provide the company name and address to match the aging.
Mhm.
You send that to us in an Excel or CSV file or text via email, or you can do a secure FTP upload on our secure server. We are certified data secure. And like I said, you just send us that same file, Karen, that you're already sending right now to Credit Intel, and you'll get the monitoring for free. You'll get the daily alerts for free. We get the CFO report for free. And then, of course, you get those credit reports at the substantially reduced price of $2.50 to $6 a piece on a pay-as-you-go basis. So all I can say is if you see the additional value, go ahead and get approval from your boss, and we can have you guys literally up and running within 24 hours.
Excellent.
Sound good?
It sounds good.
Okay, so with that being said, I will go ahead and send you a brief summary email of everything that we just went over,
Great.
along with PDFs of all these reports and stuff, along
That would be perfect.
with the order form, which is just a page and a half order form. And as you can see, so that you know I'm not pulling your chain, it says here submission of a monthly AR trade file is required. And then in return, you get the monitoring and the alerts for free on the unlimited customers and unlimited users monitored for free. And then, of course, the deep dive and the flash reports are charged per report as displayed on the website. And then, of course, we have a premium service called the Boost or a Batch Pen. That's an optional service that we charge for, but everything is extremely competitively low priced and optional. You can even just use us for the free monitoring and never pull a single report, and Cortera will be happy with that because you're sharing your trade with us. That's where Cortera sees the value in the sharing of the trade. So as soon as you can get this approved and completed, I'll send this to you in electronic format via DocuSign. So
Okay.
as soon as I get this back from you via DocuSign, I'll issue you a username and password, send us over your trade tape, and we'll begin monitoring and providing those alerts on your customers right away.
Great.
Sound good?
Yep. And I'll try to get to them with them before the end of the week. So hopefully I can't see why they would say no on the free stuff. So
I'm on board with you, Karen. And if there's anything else that you need to help persuade them, please let me know.
okay.
Since you guys are already sharing with Credit Intel, I don't see why they wouldn't want to just send us.
Yeah. And we also are part of another credit group, like the Reamer Plus group. So I mean, we're already putting it out there to a couple groups. So I don't see why they would be against this one.
Sure. So great. So once again, did you have any other questions before we go?
Nope. I think that's good.
Great. Okay. So thank you again for your time. I really appreciate you taking a look at Cortera, and I'm glad that we can certainly help you guys out in filling those missing data gaps on smaller companies and give you some free monitoring and alerts in exchange for the data contribution. And you see the reports are very intuitive, easy to read, and have substantially more information.
Mhm.
So we're glad we can help you out on that end as well. So if there's anything else you need, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Should I put you down for a follow-up by the end of the week if I don't hear back from you?
I don't know how about if you don't hear from me by the middle of next week? Give me a
Middle of next week? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll do
Sometimes they're hard to track down since we're not in the same building.
that. Sure, no problem. Completely understand, and you're working remote, so that's understandable. But okay, so look out for my summary email in the next 5 minutes or so.
Okay, great.
And I look forward to welcoming you and the team to the Cortera network soon.
I appreciate your help and your information.
You're very welcome, Karen. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.